Guten Tag and welcome. Welcome back to Der Club. I ran into a couple technical difficulties. I had two matches. We had the cup match against Frankfurt, and we had a following league match against Hamburg recorded. And I'd gone through and verified, and they looked great. And then I was editing last night's video, and I hit export to media, and it was doing its thing. I thought, well, let me take the time. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to check these videos real quick. I'm going to see who I played in those videos because it had been a couple of days since I'd recorded them. And I'll put that in the title. Just trying to get more organized here on the back end of the production line. And so I went in and I listened to a little bit again, and it was fine. And I checked, okay, this was Frankfurt. Let me change the name, Frankfurt. I got into Hamburg. I watched a little bit of Hamburg. Okay. Added the name Hamburg into the end of the title. And closed them and was good. And then it came time to edit them. And both of those videos somehow now, I think they got stretched. So, you know, if it used to be 23 minutes long, now it's 23 minutes and 5 seconds long. The file information doesn't show any change. But when you now listen to it, my voice is deeper, and there's little gaps, little splits in it. That you don't notice in the video, but you do notice in the audio. And so you end up with, it sounds a little bit like a pop. There's not a pop. There's nothing going up. There's just a little missing section there because when it stretched, it didn't have audio for all those areas. And it may be that we're saving more video. So we're like 60 frames per second for the video. And maybe I have the audio set for the YouTube, which is 29.97, whatever. Sample rate, right? I'm not really sure, but essentially it wasn't any way to fix it easily. I could push it back down, or I could change the pitch, but I still had those kind of gaps, and they came across as really bad. I say they sounded like a pop, but they weren't a pop. They were just a, and then it coming back up. They were just little gaps, and I couldn't figure out an easy way to get rid of them. So what we're going to try today is, instead of watching the match live like I normally play it, we're going to go back and I'm going to see if we can just watch the highlights of those two matches so you don't fall behind. And we'll do them as one video rather than as two, and we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. But I was so frustrated with trying to fix the problems. I spent quite a bit of time today on it, and I'm just going to give up, and we're just going to Footmail Manager and see if we can figure out how to, well, we know how to watch highlights. We'll see if we can watch highlights without spoilers. That's the idea. All right. I'll be back in a minute after I play with it a little bit and see if we can figure it out. And we will watch a cup match against Frankfurt and a league match against Hamburg. All right, welcome back. And, well, I couldn't quite get rid of all the spoilers, but we'll watch the highlights anyway, and at least you can see how the match went. The other thing I noticed was that I seem to be losing audio for the game, and I'm not quite sure why. I do appear to show audio here. I am exporting audio from every possible audio source, so to speak. But I don't know, these two didn't have any game audio in them. So I'm watching my little counter down on the bottom. You can't see it, but in OBS, it appears to have volume for the game. So we'll see what happens. That'll at least troubleshoot it. At least we've got it on. All right, here's the beginning. We start out strong. Tolomeo goes in. This is initial kickoff, and he loses it. But we got a penalty shot. So, you know, at this point, we're feeling good about ourselves. Feek steps up. Wide. Goalie probably would have been there anyway. Corner kick for us. Oh, goalie must have got a finger on it for it to be a corner kick, to be honest. All right, now it's going the other way. Now we commit a foul down there. And what will it be? Notice we do have Seidel in there on our left defensive winger. And a very slow walk for a yellow card. Now, we did go into this match as declared underdogs, despite the fact that we have beaten Frankfurt once and had a draw with them once. This is at their house. Well, I thought it was. I guess they just like their striped uniforms, and that's why we're in the red. And Ristic to Emmanuel. Emmanuel has killed us in the past. He has been by far their best player. We did go into this match and essentially do everything we can to make his life miserable. As you can see, it didn't really matter a whole lot. Emmanuel continues to get great assists, although he didn't get the assist there, but he set that up. And he's made a bunch of goals against us in the past. All right, Ptolemaeo's got it. He is going down. We are at 40 minutes just before the half. Pass to Ockenberg, over to Peak. Oh, and Mule gets in there and makes a great play. The pass wasn't quite on spot, and everybody had to slow down for it. They were able to counter. Don't believe. Let's see if we can pull up as we watch Mueller. Mueller. Anyway, he makes a cross in. Nothing happened to it. Alzano's got it. Let's go back up and get match stats up here. You can see that as far as the match stats go, and there we go. Brilliant cross in. Zenith redirects it. Goal for Frankfurt. Yeah, as we look at the final match tactics, we can see shots were equal. On target was equal. We had 3 clear-cut chances. They had 1. We had more half chances than they had. They did have an advantage in possession, and they were a little bit better with their passing. But we were given 4 yellow cards. They weren't given any. We didn't really have a setup other than on Emmanuel to play aggressively, and I don't think we got any of those yellows on Emmanuel. So, yeah, I think we kind of got hosed, to be honest. I think the ref handed Frankfurt this one. There's no way we should have lost 4-1 looking at that. But again, that's something we've seen this season. Again, that's partly, team speed. We've talked about this before. We didn't have a whole lot of defensive speed. Although let's look. We're in the second half here. Let's see, that's Eichhorn. Eichhorn was our replacement for Oliver Fischer. He's defensive. Doesn't have an offensive bone in his body. He's strictly back there for defense. There's Heisa. We put him in. So we do have Bloom, and Bloom is in there. He's one of our defensive placements. We'll go over those real fast, maybe between match. Well, I'm not sure if we covered him in this one or the last one, to be honest. We brought in, if we didn't cover it, I brought in 2 loners to play defensive center. They're younger guys. They're not spectacular, but they have some team speed. A little bit of acceleration, a little bit of pace. And Balassa. So this match we ran Balassa in mid-center and Bloom in defensive center, excuse me. Balassa would prefer to be out on the right. That's where he's better, but he's got good heading. Decent speed. His defensive stats are pretty good, so we've been running him more in the middle, again, just because we don't have anybody back there. And they score again. But it seems to be when we give up chances, we give up any sort of chance, we give up a goal. Which is frustrating. Although in this match, there wasn't a lot of big kind of counter-attacking goals. They just scored and we didn't, despite the chances. So, I don't know. I don't think Frankfurt is a dramatically better team than us. I think we're probably fairly comparable. I'm sure they do have a higher payroll and some players that are worth a little bit more. Oh, there's Manzotti comes in, and there was our goal. Yeah, Domenico wasn't having a great game, so we had subbed in Manzotti here at the end, just trying to get something to happen, just to get a goal. At that point, we were down 4-0, and I was feeling pretty poor. But like I say, I don't think we deserve to be down 4-0 looking at those numbers. It was just an unlucky match. It's just sometimes the bounces don't go your way. And let's see, can we leave the match here? And we'll jump ahead to the Hamburg match. You're going to see a little bit more there. You know what? We played Hamburg, but we never see a win on video, it seems like. We see a lot of draws. We see the loss. We saw the blowout there. We'll watch. Maybe we'll watch the Stuttgart match here instead. But as long as we're here, let's go ahead and look over a few things. The next match we're coming back for is this Augsburg match at home. Again, because I wanted you to see a win, so hopefully we'll see one live on video there. Augsburg is in last place at that point. So we kind of see how things have gone. Our form hasn't been terrible. Other than that one loss, which was the cup round, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've gone like 8 or 9 matches here with just the one loss to Gelsenkirchen, who is very good. They're in the top 3. Check. They're down to 4. But you can see they're good. In form, we've been kind of mixed, but we had a couple wins that helped us a lot. Frankfurt, other than beating us, has been in fairly poor form. They've been dropping. Stuttgart's been Stuttgart's been climbing. Hertha has just plummeted down. Let's see if we can see how things have gone for them. Schedule senior squad 0 down here. You can see they have just the last 5 games they've just fallen off. They've really been having problems, and there were a couple wins in there, but there were a lot of losses in there. So anyway, so they've dropped. Frankfurt's dropped. Stuttgart's climbed back up out of relegation. That'd be great. They came up with us. It'd be nice if we could both hang in there. And you can see there's a few other teams in poor form here. BMG's been dropping. Freiburg's been dropping. Hoffenheim's only had the 1 win in the last 5. Meanwhile, RBL is on a tear. 5 straight wins. Bayern's been playing great. They had a draw last, but they've been doing good. Not that any of this really affects us this season or probably in the next couple. But yeah, we're beginning to see some separation. There are, let's look at schedule if I can find it here. There's not a lot of matches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches left. And we are at the moment 14 points clear of the bottom spot, but we're only 4 spots clear of the closest instant relegation spot and 4 points clear of the playoffs. So we do have a little bit of work to do, but if we can get a win against Augsburg this next match, that puts us up at 31 points. And if we were to have a win and they were to have a loss, then obviously their goal differential is not going to get better. We would have that, and we would slide into 11th spot in front of Koln. And then the rest of our season, we've got Hertha, again, who's been horrible lately, so hopefully we continue to get them in that poor form. Freiburg's been dropping. They are a better team than us. I'd love to have a draw there, but a win is not out of the question. A loss isn't out of the question. Bayern, that's probably going to be a loss. Ingolstadt should be a win for us. Leverkusen's going to be a loss. Dortmund's going to be a loss. Hoffenheim could be anything. So we've got anywhere probably from 6 to 8 or 9 points left that we're going to pick up hopefully in the season, and which should give us, right around 35 points, which I believe is what we said, which I don't know if we talked about in the video, but that was kind of the point number that the media and our assistant coach was throwing around as what was going to be needed to avoid relegation. And I think they're probably pretty accurate with that. So let's go ahead. We'll take a look at one more quick game. I'd say Hamburg was a draw, and it was a boring match. So let's just go ahead and let's look at Koln. This was an exciting one. 4-3. It was at home. We had 40,000 fans there to see us. Wasn't one I expected to win, to be honest, but it was one I was happy to give a try for. They play the 4-4-2. And let's go ahead and view highlights. See what happens. Hopefully the neighbor mowing his lawn isn't going to affect us too much. I live in California, and we've had a little bit of a wet spring this year, to the point where the Santa Cruz Mountains seem to be doing their best to slide down into the mountains and take Santa Cruz with them. Nobody's going to miss Santa Cruz, just saying. And we've got a dam ready to burst, a little bit, not that my house is in trouble, but, oh, there we go. Sarek comes in, early goal, blows past Bloom. Anyway, we've had a lot of other issues for rain, and so the lawn guys weren't here on time, and then they weren't going to show up, but then the neighbor complained because they do his lawn too. So they were here at 7 o'clock this morning mowing the lawn. Oh my gosh, brilliant cross in. Heiss gets the finish, redirects it in there for the goal. First goal of the season. We expected a little bit more out of him as far as goals and assists. But again, with the big jump up, we shouldn't be surprised if it's been a little bit slow season for him. Anyway, today and yesterday we've had some sun and things are drying out, and all the lawn guys or homeowners are out trying to get their lawns done. And Tolomeo comes in, feeds it off the beak, up to Kirk. Brilliant shot from Kirk at long range. Oh my gosh, that's why he's in there. He might be one of the worst players on our team for total stats-wise, and yet he's like second in the league for goals, I think, right? Or maybe not goals, but for average rating. He's been playing brilliantly all season. We did try to upgrade at that position because, like I say, and Tolomeo just takes it in, shoots it himself. Not even bothered by the team. 12th goal of the season for him. We did try to upgrade because, at least on paper, it looks like it's a problem, but the reality is Kirk has played brilliantly for us all season, and he seems completely up to it despite a lack of numbers. The numbers he have are just the right numbers, and our strategies and tactics put him in a position to make the most of them. They try a pass in, it goes a little wayward. Eichhorn gets it, feeds it up to Zay Turbo, who throws it way up to Tolomeo. He just blows past his guy, which I think was Gorkum, who we traded. Let's pause this real fast. Is that Gorkum? Gorkum Durmaz, that was one of our guys. That was one of our star players last year that I lost and was really upset. But he's up here playing First Division football. Of course, he could have waited for us. Played First Division football as well. Oh, nice pass from Tolomeo into Zay Turbo, who finishes it off. Far side. 12th goal of the season for Zay Turbo as well. We have about 3 players on pace to set our new assists record, which was tied at 12 last season by Zay Turbo. A big shot in, doesn't go anywhere. Karamon is able to grab it up. Raskowski out to Max on the wing. There's Max, he dribbles in with it, fires it all the way across to the other wing to Zographikus. He tries to go and it gets deflected though. Onuka ends with it. He was one of our fill-ins in mid-center. Zettel was the other defensive loner we picked up. Stat-wise, he's not as good as Bloom, but he's played better than Bloom. So he's been getting a little bit more time. Oh, Xenos, great pass in. Oh, he just walks in unrestricted, but he's not able to finish. Big cross in, gets shot in on goal. Rakovsky manages to get it. I actually released on a free our backup goalie who complained and complained and complained. And, well, I put him on the not wanted and said, sell him or get rid of him. And they couldn't find a buyer for him. So as awesome as he told me he was, nobody wants him. He's here month to month at the moment because he doesn't have a contract. He's still complaining to the media that we're not giving him a playing time he so richly deserves. Oh well. Doesn't seem, nobody in the oh my gosh, we blocked it and then we lost it. Ellers feeds it to Raskowski, puts it in for another goal. His second goal of the season, 4-2 at this point. Notice we were up, I want to say 4-1 at the half. And then they just started crawling back into it. So that was their first goal. 4-2 now for them. I wish the score up in the corner would update with the highlights. And they've got the pressure on. 74 minutes left, or we're at 75 minutes left, and they're really beginning to push it on. Notice we haven't seen any big pushes from us really this half. Partly that was me backing off a little bit. I'm trying to play a little bit smarter. They feed it up to Tolomeo. Gorkin's unable to intercept, but Tolomeo can't get the goal, shot on goal. I'm trying to play a little bit better about, depending on the team, you know, if it's a team we think we should beat, we come out a little more aggressive and then we back off a little bit if we've got a lead. Or if it's a team we don't think we can beat, you know, we can maybe start out kind of more in the middle, say a control or just a middle of the line mentality, and then we can back off as we go. And if we, you know, we need a point either for the draw or for the win, then we can go more aggressive again. I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive in how those work. I tend to kind of live and die off of more or less one mentality in the past, so that's something I'm working on. I've been watching some Bust the Net videos. Really good tactically if you're interested in that sort of thing. So I'm trying to learn from him. And anyway, he's got an what is I'm told is an excellent strategy book available for his Patreon subscribers. Sarek comes in, goalie comes out, he's unable to take away the angle enough. Sarek just puts it past him. 4-3, 10 minutes, well, 11 minutes plus penalty time left in the match. I am just sweating bullets at this point. We've given up just a commanding 4-1 lead at half, and they are back in it. This was a game I did not expect the win to be honest. I came out a little bit aggressive early, and then I planned on, you know, giving it 15 or 20 minutes and then backing off and backing off and backing off and just praying for a draw. But when we jumped up big, we kept the foot on the pedal for the first half. Second half, we backed off. That was clearly a mistake, as we gave up 2 goals and made it much closer than it needed to be. All right, let's leave the match. So here we go. The last match was BMG. Beak and Turbo. Zay Turbo had one there. Zay Turbo had one there. Zay Turbo had one there. And he had one in here. He has been on fire lately. Domenico's kind of cooled off. He's had a couple matches. And, yeah. Oh, maybe this was the match we should have watched. It was a draw, but look at this. Wolfsburg clearly better than us. Clearly much better than us. We didn't deserve a draw here. But they scored 2 of our 3 goals for us. They got FN. What can I say? Once in a rare while, it works in our advantage. But yeah, they scored 5 of the 6 goals, but it was a 3-3 draw at the end of the day. So we'll take it. Anyway, we will be back for Augsburg, which will be the very next match. It is going to be televised, which is nice. I don't get any additional money, though. That's not as nice. And I think we're probably going to be okay. You know, our goal was just to avoid relegation this season. The board's goal was just to fight bravely against relegation, stomp our foot, and throw a temper tantrum if they relegate us, I guess, but they didn't really care if it happened. Financially, let's take a look at that real quick. This season, we're down to -6. We are still barely hanging on to a positive balance. That's about to start to drop, but I'm not too worried. I have kind of sold clauses as we needed to bring in some additional cash. Our budget right now for payroll is 1.9 million. We got a little bit more money than what we're actually spending. I have moved some money from the transfer budget over that we got from selling some players over the winter break. But, you know, original budget was 0. We've got 2.3 million in. We've got 1.9. I'm guessing the 75% of transfer revenue is about to drop at the end of this month when we lose a little bit more money to 50 or 10. That's fine. We don't really have any huge plans for that at the moment. And again, if we look at, let's see, we are in 13th place right now. If that were to hold true till the end of the season, we would stand to make a little bit of money. 13th place would get us 41 million. So if we end up the season, say, -5 million, we're going to end up positive 36 million. So I'm not worried about cash right now. We're well within what we need to be in. You know, we went into this season with very little money. Although, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I think we were plus 8 million maybe. But we just don't have the income yet to maintain even our modest salary. So, but into the season we'll be okay. Here, we can look at average rating. Sebastian Kirk is 3rd for average rating at this point with a 7.67. Zay Turbo is 3rd in the division with assists at 11. We don't have anybody kind of challenging for this. Player of the match, nothing here. But luckily, yellow cards were also not involved. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that we had to redo it this way, and it kind of takes some of the drama out of the matches, but the audio was just so distracting in that match. I just didn't feel we could put it out, and I didn't want to go up and do another match without you having seen some of this portion of kind of the middle of the second half. So anyway, if you liked it, hit like. If you disliked it, hit dislike. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to say more, and we will see you next time. Tschüss.